Namaga children, you are welcome for online class Ekalaiva. Children, class 9th, you are welcome for the prose lesson 7th unit, the letter birthday letter. So it is written by Jawaharlal Nehru to his lovely daughter Indira Gandhi. So he just writes, he is in prison and he want to write a letter and fill the gap what she is missing. So she is missing her own father in a dialogue or advice or suggestions. So you want to fulfill that with this letter. So this letter had been taken from a book in 1942. All the 196 letters have been made, Glimpse of the World. So that is a letter, all the letter which Jawaharlal Nehru wrote in the prison had been made as a book, Glimpse of the World, and it had been made as a book in 1942. So it is very clear, children. So here we have stopped that Jawaharlal Nehru was just writing to her daughter that this letter was very important to her, and he is saying that you are missing me and my suggestions. So that don't think that this is a letter, only one person is talking to you. You imagine that I am in front of you and keeping this suggestion to you. So as he says and he talks, and let us see what he is giving a suggestion to the daughter. In history we read of a great periods in the life of a nations, of a great men and women. So in the life of the nation we have great men and women. And do you remember how fascinated you were? So she was fascinated when she was reading a story called Joan of Arc, and how her ambition was like her. So she wanted to be an ambitious person like Joan of Arc. And the father kindles her inspiration in that. Ordinary men and women are not usually heroic. Ordinary person are not heroic. They think of their bread and butter. So ordinary people will think that daily they have to get bread and butter for their food. But a time comes when all people become interested in a great cause. So ordinary people will be just thinking of the bread and butter. They will be thinking for bread and butter. They will be thinking of their daily meals, how to lead their life. Only this will be the ordinary people's. But heroic people's thought will be different. What will be there? But a time comes when a whole people become interested in a great cause. Sometimes when time comes, what will happen? All the people want to be heroic and they will be think of their great cause. Then history helps them. So when they want to create some heroic in them, so what helps them? The history helps them. So let us see the continuation of the letter. Simple, ordinary men and women to become heroes. Great leaders have something in them which inspires all people and makes them to great deeds. In India, a great leader full of love for all who suffer and eager to help them has inspired our people to great actions and noble sacrifice. He has helped to make the starving, the poor and the oppressed free and happy. You know who is the person? It is Mahatma Gandhi, the leader who started the freedom fight. Okay. Simple ordinary men and women to become heroes. So he made simple men and women to become heroes by fighting for the freedom. Great leaders have something. Great leaders have something in them which inspires. So when a great leaders, they have something in them, and that inspires a whole people and makes them a great deeds. So makes them a great deeds. In India, a great leader full of love for all who suffer and eager to help them. So such a leader, great leader. Who is that great leader? It is Mahatma Gandhi, who started freedom fighting in a non-violence way. Doesn't want violence. He told the people to be non-violence and fight for their freedom. It made him great leader, and people also inspired him. So full of love for all who suffer and eager to help them, has inspired our people to a great action and noble sacrifice. They made a great action and there was a noble sacrifice. He has helped to make the starving, the poor and the oppressed free and happy. So this great leader helped the person to fight for their freedom. Poor and starving, they were starving and they were poor, and oppressed, free and happy. They want, even when they are starving, it's not a problem. They want to be freedom in their life. So that inspiration had been given by Mahatma Gandhi to the people. So he is talking about it. Babuji is in prison. So that Babuji is Mahatma Gandhi. He is in prison. But the magic of his message has stolen the hearts of Indian millions. Men and women and even little children come out for their little shells and become India's soldiers of the freedom. In India today we are making history, and you and I are fortunate to see this happening before our eyes and to take some part ourselves in this great drama. So Jawaharlal Nehru very clearly teaches his daughter that because of Babuji, that Mahatma Gandhi was in jail, in a prison, but his thought, his message reached the thousands and thousands of men of the nation, and they all just coming out of their shell, and they were just in a non-violent way, they were just fighting and they want their freedom, they were fighting for their freedom. And Jawaharlal Nehru was one among them, and he is also been participating with them, and he also imprisoned for that cause, and he was in the prison, and he just kindles the emotion of the Indira Gandhi, and he tells that you are a 13 years old child and you must have the spirit of freedom in this age so that you can fight. So you must be brave enough, whatever the things is coming to you, you must participate in that freedom fight. So that was the message he is giving to his daughter. So it is in a great drama. So surely we are going to see in our eyes that we Indians ought to be free. So we are going to be free, and we get freedom, and we will have a free India. We will be seeing through our eyes. For that Babuji is fighting, and other people are inspired and fighting along with you. Also join your hand for that. So that was the spirit and the message given to his daughter. If we are to be Indian soldiers, we have to respect India's honor. So see, he says that you become an Indian soldier, and if you are an Indian soldier, you have to honor our Mother India. So that thought had been given by him. We have to respect India's honor, and that honor is a sacred one. So that honor is a sacred one, and sacred trust. It is no easy matter to decide what is right and what is not. So you can't decide what is right and what is not right. One little test I shall ask you to apply whenever you are in doubt. So the father says, I usually ask you to do one thing when you have a doubt. What it is? Never do anything in secret or anything that you would wish to hide. So anything secret, if you felt, don't do that. And that you would wish to hide. So which you want to hide it, you don't hide it. So better you just explore it, so that there won't be any trouble in your life. For the desire to hide anything means that you are afraid. So if your desire is to hide for anything, then you are afraid. So if you love your nation, love your nation and honor your nation, you have to be bold enough to say, even if you're getting a punishment. So that was a thought given by his father to the raising daughter, who is only 13 years old. For the desire to hide anything means that you are afraid. If you are afraid, and fear is a bad thing and unworthy of you. So fear is a unworthy thing and it is a bad thing. Be brave, be bold, and all the rest follows. Be brave and bold so that everything will be following you. So the father tells her very clearly that she must not be hiding any secret, and she must not have anything secret or hide anything in a way. So she must express our wish, our way and other things to others. So it is very clear to you? Okay. You know that in our great freedom, so you know that in our great freedom movement, under Babuji's leadership. So our freedom movement under Babuji's leadership, there is no room for secrecy or hiding. So the non-violence fight between against the British is not a secret, or it is not a secrecy or hiding. We have nothing to hide. We have nothing to hide. We are not afraid of what we do or what we say. So we are not afraid of what we do or what we say. We work in the sun and in the light. So here he says that we work in sun and the light, and in the sun and the light, and we are not afraid of what we do or what we are doing. So he says that we are not afraid. So what we are doing, it is expressed to everybody, and in the sun and in the light. Even so, in our private lives, let us make friends with the sun and work in the light. So even in the private life also we must work in a sun and light, and do nothing secretly. And if you do so, so you don't do anything secretly. If you do so anything secretly, my dear, you will grow up a child of the light, unafraid and serene and unruffled, whatever may happen. So he says that you be bold enough, brave enough, and don't be afraid. You be unafraid. If you were unafraid and serene means very strict and straightforward and unruffled, whatever may happen. So whatever happen, even death may happen, you don't afraid, you be unafraid. So that was the advice or suggestion given by the father to his daughter. I have written a very long letter to you, and you get, there is so much I would like to tell you. So here he says that I am writing a big letter to you, a very long letter to you, and yet there is so much I would like to tell you. So much I would like to tell you. How can a letter contain it? How can a letter contain it? Goodbye, little one, and may you grow up into a brave soldier in the India service. So he just tells his daughter, that he writes to be brave enough. So under Babuji, that is under Mahatma Gandhi, under his leadership, they are fighting for their freedom. The Indian people are fighting for the people, and men and women, 1,000 men and women have been joined in that boldly. Even youngsters, young ones from the place, they came out and they were just from their shell, and they were just fighting. And you are of 13 years old, you can also participate, but one thing you must have in your mind, that you must not be afraid, you must be bold and brave girl, and you have to fight whatever things happen to you. Don't bother, even death may come to you, you just get it, and you don't afraid of it, you be unafraid. So what all happening will be happening good. So he is telling to his daughter very clearly, unafraid and stern means very strict and unruffled, whatever may happen. So it may happen to you, something will be happen to you. So but you be very unafraid, you don't be frightened of anything, be a brave and bold child, so to face the things, so that you will be a heroic one day, and you will be a soldier. So here he calls his daughter as a soldier. She is only 13 years old, and he just sees the child that she is a young soldier and she have to fight for the Indian freedom. So with all my love and good wishes, your loving father. So Jawaharlal Nehru just finishes letter that it is the thing that she must be bold enough even to participate in the freedom fight, and whatever the thing happens to her, she must have bold enough to accept the things. Even punishment is given, she may be prison, so she must not be frightened for anything. That boldness and braveness brought her a courageous woman in the later life of her, and she was a prime minister, you know. She also shot dead, and she was a very courageous woman, and she fought and she ruled the nation in a nice way by learning this suggestions what her father given in a younger age. Okay children, I believe that the letter you understood very clearly, you enjoyed the letter. Okay, you also write a letter to your father or mother or to your class teacher So, in which way they have been inspiring you. Okay children, to receive our online lessons, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates. Thank you children, we will meet you in the next class.